Abdulrazak. I'm from the Department of Business Economy.
Okay, can you share your
Sorry,
expectation?
hello, sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, my network.
Okay, I think your network is not good. Let me call on another person. Okay, I'll call on Anne. Anne, can you please share your expectation? But before doing that, kindly introduce yourself, your name, your department, and your level. All right, since Anne will not be saying anything, can we hear from Bako? Yes, Bako, please, can you share with us your name, your level, your department, and your expectation for tonight's call?
Okay, good evening, everyone. So, my expectation for today's program is you do and don't of the resume and CV, and what is the differences, the similarities between the CV and resume. Thank you.
Sorry, you did not introduce yourself.
Oh, so sorry. My name is Fatima, going to 400 Economics Department. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I can see sure I'm like doing the clapping of hands. Like, why that? Okay, let me introduce myself to you. I am not the investment society. My name is Bilikis Yisa, a student of the Department of Economics 400 level. So, and I'll be the moderator for tonight's discussion. So, Joy, please kindly confirm if you are here with us on the call. Okay, not to waste our time, we have Abdulwahab here with us on the call. I think I saw him. Okay, I think probably his network locked him out. Yes, his network locked him out. So let's just wait for some minutes. And while waiting, I would like to hear from some other people also their expectation for tonight's meeting. Aliyu, can you share with us your expectation for tonight's call?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yusuf Ali from the Department of Human Physiology, 400 level.
Okay, what are your expectations for tonight?
I'm hoping to know about the CV writing.
Okay, thank you very much. Our speaker for tonight is an NHEF scholar for year 2024, a recent graduate of the Department of Economics, our own BGS. And I won't say much. Let me just call him to come and introduce himself. Okay, in person of Abdulwahab Lukman. Abdulwahab, you have the floor.
So hello everyone, good evening. Bilikis, confirm if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so it goes without saying, thank you for the flattery. And very briefly, I am Abdulwahab Lukman, and as she rightly said, a 2024 NHEF scholar. And it's my pleasure to be with you guys tonight to discuss the final topic of the NHEF Readiness Series, which kind of is going to be around writing a compelling and winning CV slash resume. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdulwahab, for being on this call with us. So I think someone raised his hand before Abdulwahab takes the floor. Okay, so Abdulwahab will be taking us through how to write a compelling CV slash resume, and I want every one of us to please pay attention to details. At the end of the section, we also have another speaker that will be speaking after Abdulwahab. So after then, we'll have question and answer section. All right, Abdulwahab, we have the floor.
Yeah, so thank you once again. So given the nature of time we have for the session, it's already late evening, and uh, we are going to be two taking the session, right? And I guess the modalities of the program is going to also have a panel Q&A kind of thing. So given that, I have decided not to, you know, dwell on um, the foundational introductory part of the session where I come, present slide, and talk and talk and talk and talk. So basically tonight will be more of a practical session. So what I have and I will be displaying very shortly, it's a CV template, right? So a CV template that basically our advisor, anybody applying for the NHF adopt, because it's a CV template that is shared by the NHF themselves. So you are applying to the NHF, and then NHF are saying that this is a CV template that we kind of approve of, or we want people to use. So why deviate from using it? So my advice would be that you guys follow it very very religiously, right? So and trust me, the way the CV format is even structured is such that whatever application you want to do, even if it's not NHF, is it something that can fly, more especially if it's at this undergraduate level. So and eventually, even if you are postgraduate and all, like what you are going to tweak from it is not going to be much. Well, most importantly, the caveat is stick to the CV. This particular CV I'm going to share, because it's an NHF authorized or accredited CV. And in the interest of time, as I've mentioned, I'll just walk us through that, how to go about filling the sections very quickly, and then I hand over to the next speaker. So Bilikis, very quickly, so how many time do I have? So I kind of work with that.
Okay, for you, let me just say approximately 25 minutes.
Thank you so much for that. Very, very restrictive time in Bilikis. So without wasting much time, let me share. So by the way, let's have some, let's have a very quick survey. So how many people have a CV on the call? I have 24 participants. So how many people have a CV? Let's say a show of hands. Two. Okay. Out of 24, we have 6. That's 1 over 4, 25%. Too bad. Too bad. It's very poor. So, anyways, so the goal of the session is to have as much as everyone on the call eventually have a CV after the call, right? So, and for anybody willing to apply to the program next year, our advisor, you kind of have your CV ready, like so that when the application opens, what you are going to concern yourself with is not going to be I don't have a CV, I want to start preparing a CV. You would bother yourself with other things, the essay questions, how you approach your maybe aptitude tests, how you start preparing for your interviews and stuffs like. But for now, try and like kind of, because you know that definitely they will ask you of a CV, right? So why wait till it's the time before you now start running helter skelter to draft one? So my advice would be that
Abdulwahab,
immediately after yeah.
sorry I had to cut you off. Okay, Joy is now back on the call. She was supposed to like take the first section before you. So I think it will be okay if she takes the first section so as to the flow to go well before you take the practical parts.
Okay, okay, it's fine, it's fine.
I hope
Joy,
that's
you are
fine by you.
welcome.
All
No,
right.
it's fine. And thank you
Okay.
for disrupting me, Bilikis.
Sorry. Okay,
No, Joy,
Sharif,
go ahead. Go
why
ahead.
the emojis? Like, why crying? Don't worry, you will enjoy the flow because it's actually the very first step before going to Abdulwah's part. So, Joy, welcome, and we are so glad you are here on the call. Please let's appreciate her with our emojis. So we have Joy Adejoh, our recent graduate from the Department of Accounting. Joy, please confirm you are here
Good
with us on
evening,
the call.
everyone. Yes, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, I can.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for the delay from my end. Apologies for that. And sorry for keeping you guys waiting. I'm Joy, and I'm a 2024 NHEF scholar, and I'm glad to be on the call with you guys. So, Balikis, am I to go straight to the point,
Okay, you
or
are welcome,
it's a
Joy.
panel session?
So, Joy will be taking us like through the introductory parts of this section that is writing a compelling CV or resume. So, Joy, what is CV? Like the word CV, is it an abbreviation or is it just like a word on its own?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. First off, course, we know CV is an abbreviation, even though it has a definition on itself, it has a meaning, it has what it encompasses. It's curriculum vitae, right? And that is what CV is all about. It's a document. For now, as students, it's a one-page document that comprises of your academic, your professional experiences, your volunteer experiences, every experiences that speaks well of you, that sells you as an ideal candidate for anything you're applying for. That is what it's a CV. It shows as a student, it shows your academics. You can include your CGPA or your class of degree, your education, your secondary school, what you had in secondary school. Like for the NHEF formats now, your education, you're going to show your secondary school, yeah, distinctions, what you had, and what the university you currently are now. That's ABU, right? And for those that are not in ABU and your class of degree, you will include your CGPA in a bracket or your class of degree if you want. So that all your accomplishments, even those scholarship you won, those awards you're giving to, that speaks well of you. So that's all that your CV encompasses. It encompasses everything that speaks of you, that shows you as an ideal, that speaks of you as an ideal candidate for an application process. So that's what the CV is all about.
Okay, the word CV, is it the same thing as resume? Because some people say, okay, submit your CV, submit your resume. Are they referring to the same thing or it's a different thing? It's a different, the two words are different.
Okay, so CV and resume are used interchangeably. They are both used interchangeably, but they are two different things. They are very different, but not really different because they are very similar.
A CV, as I said already, it shows everything that sells you as an ideal candidate, from your academic qualifications to everything, your professional experiences, your leadership skills, your volunteer skills as a student. Why your CV has that. Sorry, your resume, I mean, your resume has that, but your resume is something that is targeted towards a particular role, like something specific. Like, let's say for me now, I'm applying for a market, applying for a position. Let's say I'm applying for okay, an HR. I'm applying for an HR. So that I'm going to prepare a resume, because everything I'm preparing at that moment, I am targeting it towards selling myself as an ideal candidate for an HR role. So a resume actually is, it's a one page it's a one page document, just like a CV, but it is mainly targeted towards one thing, towards selling yourself for a particular thing. Maybe I'm selling myself for HR, selling myself for investment banking. I'm putting myself out there for something specific. So that is what a resume is all about. But they are similar. Like right now, as students, use them interchangeably. My CV is my CV, my resume is my resume, but like they are both the same thing for our level right now, but out there they are two different things. I hope you understand.
All right, thank you for that explanation. CV and resume for a student right now is kind of like really the same thing, but going to the professional space, we have to differentiate our CV from our resume. Okay, so you said like CV or resume, it's a one-page document. For some students, that'll be like, oh, I've gained a lot of experience during my school time. Yes, I've done this. I'm in this association. I'm in this club. I'm part of this. And like their CV is now extending more than a one page. Is that appropriate or not?
Okay, it is not appropriate, especially for this program you're applying. That's the NHEF Scholars Program. Just as Abdulwahab had said earlier, there is a format, there is a template, and it's one page. Because no matter what you've done as a student at this moment, you have to concise everything together. You are not writing a full page essay. This is not an essay. That is why there is the part of you writing an essay. This is your CV, and you are just going straight to the point, telling us with action points. What are the things you've done? What are the results you achieved with that position, that experience that is on your CV? So you are going straight to the point. Your CV is not supposed to be more than one page for now as a student. It's not supposed to be more than one page. I know there are some aspects when you start reaching in life, you can submit a 15-page CV. But right now, as a student, what you need is a one-page CV that concise everything. If you have a lot of experiences, a lot of things that you've done, pick the relevant ones, the ones you know best sells you. You pick that and you use that at the moment. And if you want to apply for other things, you can always change them. But right now, as a student, the ideal page for your CV is just one page document. And um, a lot of people that go through there are a lot of applications when you apply for the NHEF. You're not just the only person applying. So imagine having a two-page CV. You're going to bore the person going through it. The person would be tired of even scanning through. But when it's one page, it's easy for them to just scan through. It's not like they really want to read everything word by word. They just want to scan and have a glimpse of who you are, because they can't see you in person. That is, your CV is speaking of who you are. Who exactly are you? That is what your CV is telling them. So it's just a glimpse of you in one page, a glimpse of who you are in one page. So you need to make it as clear as possible. Use the right font, use the right action words. I'm going to dwell more on that, right? It's going to do the practical aspect. So you're going to use the right words, the right action words. You're going to put everything in the right place in such a way that when they see it, it's going to be like, oh, this person is an ideal candidate for this. So it should not be more than one page. Don't even do the mistake of exceeding one. Just let it be one page for now. That's it.
All right, thank you, Joy. But before we go further, Nazir, you have your hands raised up. Do you have anything to say right now?
No, Sog, it was a mistake, Sog.
Okay, so just as Joy has said, our CV for now is supposed to be a one-page document. There is no extension, irrespective of whatever it is you are doing right now or what you have done. As a student right now, you are expected to have a one-page document. So if you think that, okay, I've done this, I've done that, just put in the relevant ones that are very relevant for whatever it is you want to apply for, and it should be a one-page document. So just to round up this section and we move on to the next because of our time, Choi, I would like to ask you, if you are writing a CV and you don't have any like experience or any anything you've done, what are the things that you think that okay, someone can put in a CV document so as to look like okay, even though I've not done anything in particular, but for me to draft out a CV, these are the things I can include in the CV.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Um, I would be using myself as an example. That was when I was in 200 level when I applied for the investment society. I know one of the requirements was for us to write a CV and like submit a CV with our application process. And I told myself I don't even have anything. Like what have I done before? I had to sit down and start thinking. So what am I supposed to write in a CV? So one of the first things I would tell you if you need a CV is first of all get a template, because when you sit down and you start overthinking things that I don't have experience, I don't even know anything I'm supposed to do. You are not going to see yourself do the right thing anytime. You're not even see yourself do the right thing anything or like creating a CV for you. And when you get a template, then you sit down and assess yourself. So when I wrote my CV in 200 level, the things I wrote in the CV, I can still remember everything. The first thing I wrote for my leadership experience. I wrote that I was a leader, like I was the head of the Scout Association in my school. I was the troop leader. That was my secondary school. And that I think I still maintain that till when it's here, but I've not gotten a lot of experience before NHF. So that was still in my CV. So that is one of the things I'm using that as an example. So your leadership skills, or and I know of a friend that I went through his CV format as at that time, and one of the things I saw was that he wrote that he was a group leader, like he headed a team. So that also shows your leadership skill. So that is something. That is something. If you are someone that you are very proactive when it comes to taking up responsibility, when you are giving group assignments, when you are giving some presentation in class, that is something. That is something you can tell. It's there was this session, I think 2 sessions back, that we spoke about how you package some things, and Abdulwahab really dwelled on that. So you have to package it. You once led a team. That's a great thing. It's not easy to actually lead human. It's not easy to bring human beings together to do something. So leading a team for teamwork is something, and also voluntary service, voluntary experiences when you volunteer for something. It's also something you can put in your CV, or professional experiences too. Maybe you've interned with a firm, or you've offered services, or you've done something. So that is something you can put in your CV. And also your notable achievements. There are also things you can put in your CV. Have you won scholarship before? Have you been awarded anything? Maybe best something like that. Like, or you attended you there was a competition that was host. Because I remember that time, I think I was using, yes, I used my notable achievement that time I could remember was that I won a scholarship when I was in secondary school. So that was one of the things I put there. That was some of the things I put together in my TIS application back then. So if you think you don't have an experience, that's a lie. You have done something before now. All you just have to do is to sit down, assess yourself, and think back. Okay, and also I remember crafting a CV for a lady in 200 level 2 when I was in school, and she was telling me she didn't have experience. And then I asked her, okay, Her father has a poultry, and she told me she's the one that do coordinates the poultry. She helps them take accounts. So that is something. That is something. So you have to think back, sit down and think, what are those things that you have been doing? Those little things. You help your mother manage something in shop. You follow your father to the office, and it gives you some things to handle. That is responsibility. So that is something you can curate together and put in your CV. So you have an experience, of course. All you just have to do is to sit down and use the right words, the right action words to bring them to life. So for someone that feels they don't have an experience, those are some examples of things you could actually put in your CV.
All right, thank you very much, Joy, for that explanation. Yes, you don't have to have all the experience in this world before, like, get having a CV of your own. There are some little things you've done that you can just, as Joyce said, find the right words to put it down on your CV so as to make it look very appropriate and very presentable for whatever it is you want to use your CV to do. So that we won't waste our time, that will be the end from Joy's part. Okay, Abdulwahab will take from this part. So Abdulwahab, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, so thank you, Bilikis. Thank you, Joy, for that wonderful and insightful introduction. Right, so Joy has kind of done the whole work for me. Mine is just to come and do 1 + 1 = 2. So, with your permission, Bilkis, I will be sharing my screen.
Sure, please.
So, please kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, someone just asked a question. Is it wise to mention that you're a manager at Bet Niger on your CV or resume? Okay, that's a very tricky question actually. So, well, Bet Niger is a company, right? So, it's a business, right? So, in as much as what you are applying to, it's not something that is, ethically aligned or something. In as much as you also have dependable stuff to talk of, say for instance, you're able to manage whatever, and then you kind of have a certain, net flow that is. So if you have something, cool or solid to say, I think there is no really because Bet Nigeria is if it's a company, so Nigerian government tax them, so it's not as if they don't qualify to be a company. So it's what you do there that kind of matters, right? So I think that answers that. So very very quickly, so this is the CV. Let me see if I can make it bolder so that everybody sees it. So Bilikis, just confirm if my screen is visible enough or I will need to zoom it in.
Yes, for me, I can't see it very well and very clear.
So this is the NHEF CV template, right? So and you have a couple of sections that you should fill. So in case you feel like you don't have the information regarding some of these sections now, so that's like a wake up call for you to you know use this remainder of the holiday to do something that would kind of feature into it. So the first section apparently uh someone is struggling to speak.
Sorry, Zainab, can you mute your mic?
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so as I was saying, the first section is this. That's where you have your name, right? Where you have your name, your home address, your telephone, your email, and then now an extra addition, a LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile. So this is how you do it, right? So it's you write LinkedIn here, you now hyperlink it. You hyperlink it, right? So you just right click, insert, and then you copy your link. Say it's www.linkedin /in slash let's say this is your LinkedIn URL. So you click, so you can see it's not showing your link, but it's showing LinkedIn, such that if you click on the link, it directs you to the LinkedIn your LinkedIn profile. So this is how typically this place should look like. So your first name, your middle name. So, and after the session, I'm going to share this with the organizers of the call so they are able to share across. So you have your first name, if you have a middle name, you have your last name in that order: first name, middle name, last name, then your home address, right? So then your telephone number, your email address, and then your LinkedIn URL in hyperlink form. So then the second section, which is more or less like the first section technically, is your education section, this section. So this particular section, you can see the template is already there for you to just edit. So, and it's a Word document, so you can edit it. So, and it's well formatted, right? So you just stick to the template and then you just edit it the way it is. So university name, you want to believe that everybody is in Ahmadu Bello, so Ahmadu Bello, blah 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 blah. Write that. And location, this place will be Zaria, Nigeria. Here, this is where you write your degree, right? What kind of degree is it? Is it B Engine? Is it a Bachelor's of Science? Is it a Bachelor's of Arts? Is it B Nursing? Is it LLB? Whatever it is, you put the designation, you put the course of study, and then here you put your CGPA, your current academic standing. If you are writing a crazy CGPA, fine and good. If you're not writing a crazy CGPA, know that you have to complement for that lack of crazy CGPA here. And sometimes for most of this application, that's what even matters the most. So, and then now, unlike some templates that you see or something, for this one you have secondary school, right? So stick to the template. I know some of you might be tempted to want to remove it or something. I mean, if you're applying to the NHEF, this is the template they recommend. So why deviate from it? So here you write the name of your secondary school. If you went to LEA community school in Bagada or somewhere, you slap it here. You write the location. And then yeah, so I forgot to mention here you write the year you are supposed to finish school. Okay, for people currently in 300 level going to 4, sorry, for people in 200 going to 3. So you guys are going to be finishing school 2027. So you write 2027, and then in bracket you put expected. So I mean that's when you expect to finish school. So for your secondary school, you write the end dates. That's the year you finish school. So that's for this. So now, depending on the certification you write, if it is NECO, you write National, what's the full name? National Examination Council or something. If it's WAEC, you write WASC, you write it like this. So if you have plenty distinctions, this is where you put it. It's your bragging right, and it's also going to make you exceptional. Remember, according to what Joy has said earlier, the CV is basically a snapshot of who you are, your your career personality. And trust me, for most people, they don't even spend so much time. For most recruiters, they don't spend so much time reviewing your CV. All they need is a couple of seconds or minutes, and they are done with it. So you want to be able to give them reasons to want to look at it in depth, because you kind of have probably put in some stuff that are very 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 impressive. So if you have plenty distinctions, fine and good. If you don't have plenty distinction, probably all of it is C or all of it is B. That is not also an issue. Just make sure that you don't put 5C6, 7B3. So just remove it. There's no point. You don't want to undersell yourself, right? So now the next section is the work experience. So the work experiences is where you kind of outline all the work experiences that you have as a person. So for now, it's understandable. In fact, you're applying to the NHF for career development and career growth. So if you don't have plenty work experiences, fine and good, right? So if you do have, a bigger plus. But in any case, so that you just don't discriminate. Whatever work experience you have, even if it's not that relevant or exactly or directly relevant to the track you are applying to, slap it there regardless, because there is something we call transferable skills. I think I've mentioned something related to this in the last session I had in this series. So if you are a teacher, for instance, if you've been a teacher before, so there are certain skills there that can be transferred to this track that you are applying to. Okay, imagine someone studying law, and in law, for instance, if you are applying to the law track and probably eventually you have interest in corporate law, for instance, or you have interest in litigation or whatever interest you have, you must be good with public speaking, you must be good with organizational skills, you must be good with documentation and stuff like that. And if you have a teaching experience, that kind of builds you with some of those skills that could be transferred, right? So you teach people, so you talk, you mark, you keep register. This is organizational skill, and all of this can be transferred to whatever role you find yourself. So do not discriminate. As I have mentioned, Joy too has reiterated that if you are staying in your mom's shop, it's still an experience. Just package it well. Probably you are in charge of managing, the inflow and outflow of cash, or maybe inventory management, or maybe you are in fact in charge of sales. Whatever it is, write it in a very good way, and then describe in quantitative and measurable terms what it is you do. So this I'll come back to it eventually. Let me just walk you guys through the sections for now. So here you write the company. So maybe it's ABC Limited. You write it, and then location. Maybe it's in one village in Zamfara called Gusau. So Gusau, Nigeria, and then you write the end date. So basically the year. So you can see for NHF they don't have, as you would see it in some CV, you'll see maybe February 2020 to, that's the start date of your experience, to say November 2025. So they don't have it that way. So all they need from you is simply to just write the year, of that particular experience. So that goes without saying. So, and then here, this is where you describe the responsibility. So you can see an example below. That will come to it, as I mentioned. We'll come to it eventually. So this is for the first work experience. If you have another work experience, you slap it there. If you have another, as much as you have, in as much as it won't make your CV to be more than a page. So, and just to also mention a caveat, if it were to be a role, if it were not to be NHF, for instance, say you are applying to an internship or an entry level job or something, so you want to be able to put, say for instance, you have plenty work experiences, and you putting all of those work experiences would make you exceed the 1 page requirement. So what you would do is to slap in only those experiences that are relevant to the role you are applying to. So that goes without saying. So that's for the work experiences. So the next stage, the next section is the leadership experience. So Bilikis, confirm if you can hear me so that I don't speak to myself alone. I can't see the screen.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's nice, because network has been doing me anyhow today. So as I was saying, so the next stage is the leadership experience, right? So this is where you talk about how you led a team, how you were a group leader, how you were the president of an association, how you are a part of Feed the Cat initiative, even though a lot of human beings have not eaten, how you are, this is where you talk about all those things, right? How you went and around and catch crews with speaking debt simply because you wanted to snap picture and send on LinkedIn. This is where you put everything, right? So for the leadership experience. And remember, NHF are very big on that. They want to be able to see that you have the acumen to lead, to think, to impact community service. This is where you have it, right? Very, very important. Even if you don't have credible or relevant or strong work experiences, make sure that you have some legit, nicely, written leadership experience. And if you notice, you see that they have similar structure. They have similar structure with the work experience, right? So you have the name of the portfolio. So imagine it's plugin, and say for instance you are not an executive, so you can just write something like you can write a plugger, right? I think that's what they call themselves. So plugger, and then you now write plugin association of ABU. So if it's TIS, and then say for instance you are not really a member, right? So sorry, you are not an executive, but you are a member. So and maybe in the weekly sessions, you've been in charge of leading the small group that you've been attached to do a quick presentation. So you could write something like team lead, then you write the investment society. So and then below you now describe what it is you did. So the most important thing is that you want to be able to show clarity, right? When you come to describe what you say you do. So it's not really a big deal if you are the president or the secretary or a big, portfolio in that particular association or institution. The most important thing is what you did, right? So, and that is where you have to be very creative. And even if you would, cook some stuffs, you kind of know how you cook, you know your limits. Don't go and write member or team lead of a certain small group in a certain Saturday session and go and cook like you are the president. It's going to be an obvious lie. I mean, it's going to be noticeable. So that's for leadership section. And then the next section is the notable achievement. This is also very, very, very important, right? They want to be, because they want to bet their money on people they want to brag about in the future, right? So, and there is high correlation between people that have a lot of achievement now. There is high correlation with how they will eventually become in the future, right? So, don't be humble in any way. Like, don't be humble in any way. Anything you have, slap it there, like brag about it. Because I have told you, nobody has time to go through the CV in depth or something. So people only have like some seconds or whatever to go through the CV. So they want to be able to see things that would like kind of impress them or catch their attention. So if you don't have very, very, very strong notable achievement, say for instance, and it's natural, we have individual differences, we are not the same, everybody has differences and all. So but just try and see that you are able to put something there. It could be what a certain adult association give you. It could be anything. You are a scholar of a certain scholarship, Chevron, FSB, Gemovia stuffs, or maybe in your class you've been given like whatever. Just think of something, right? This is where you put it, notable achievement. So and depending on the number of stuffs you have, you might also consider maybe slapping in something that you kind of did notably during your secondary school days. But do not make that to be plenty, because some people are old champions. So they might have some plenty and crazy stuff in their local school, in whatever LEA school they went in their community. So I mean, you're in a university, you're in your penultimate year. They want to see a lot of university stuffs, not class kinikon, secondary school SS2, and kinikon SS2, kinikon SS3, like plenty SSS. They will ask you that what happened between SS and the current position you are now. Were you dormant? So I mean, if you have say 2-3 stuffs and then you slap in something from secondary school, it still makes sense. But if everything other notable achievement is now secondary school, I mean, that will just sell you away easily. So that's for notable achievement. And then finally you have the skills and interest section. So for skills, you put in both hard and soft skills, right? So you want to say that okay, you're applying for the finance track. They want to see what skills you have relevant to that track. And I shared a link with the general WhatsApp platform recently regarding a platform that offers free certification in finance and tech. So you actually can gain skills from taking courses, right? So you gain skills from taking courses, you gain skills from working on projects, you gain soft skills and sometimes hard skills from extracurricular activities, and then again you gain skills from work experiences. So like these are ways you gain skills, right? So if you are not good at Excel and you feel like Excel would be a good sell for you, if you're applying for say track, this is a good time for you to go and take a course on Excel or probably work on a project on Excel, right? So and for soft skills too, communication, teamwork, interpersonal skills and the like. So these are what you put in this place called skills. So languages, if you can only speak one language, be proud of it and put it there. Do I pity your life? So, but if you can speak plenty, be proud of it and also slap it there, right? So that's for languages. Let me even see if my intuition is correct. Is there anybody here that can only speak one language? Okay, what language is that, Johnny? What language? Well, I guess it's English because if you can only speak one language and you're on the call and you could understand the question I threw at you, so it's definitely English. So I don't think I need to even ask that follow-up question. So, sorry, I pity you small. Why would you only know how to speak one language and you're in Nigeria? But anyways, that's where it be. So, moving forward. So, by the way, pidgin shouldn't count as a language, please. So, that goes without saying. Then you have interest. So interest is where, so this is actually very, very important because eventually when they come to do internship placement, they may or may not, this is just a wild guess. So they may or may not factor this in, but they might. So imagine saying that the partner firm that they have on ground is something in private equity, and they have say 25 scholars that apply for the finance track, and the firm only wants to give out say 5 slots. So you can see it's just an easy thing for them to say that, well, let's just look at those people that have relevant experiences in private equity and they have interest in private equity to submit their CVs to the firm, right? So this is very important. Choose wisely. So again, what you put in your interest here, one way or the other, should be able to show directly or indirectly in the essays you are going to write regarding where they ask you about questions regarding your long-term objectives or long-term goals. So think critically about that and slap in some relevant stuffs. So if you're applying to the law track, most of the partner firms that NHF has are into corporate law. So you want to be able to, at least in the 3 or 4 interests that you want to slap in here, you want to put corporate law or some other specifics. Okay, it could be capital markets, whatever, you put it there. For NHF again, most of the firms they have are into private equity. Okay, that now they have venture capital. So they also have investment management or portfolio management. And then I think they have a very, very few number of investment banking firms or financial advisory. So you want to be able to also put that so that actually actually their CV submitted to a certain partner firm, yours also gets to be included. So that's for interest. So again, forgive me if there are people that are not in finance. I kind of use finance heavy examples, but I think I'm doing some justice to people in law as well. So it's only engineering guys that I'm sorry. So you guys should help manage my examples. So and then for professional membership, so it's understandable that for most students they might not really be in professional associations or something, though some might be maybe the student version of their professional associations. So for instance, people in ICANN, they are student members of ICANN, so you can put that in. So in any case, if you're also in, say you are a member of, you are in economics and you kind of have student subscription to Nigerian Economic Society, you can also put that there. So, but in case you are not a member of anything professional, you can just do this. So delete the professional and only leave membership. And then you can now put maybe the investment society, if you're a member of the investment society, or you're a member of any other thing, you just put it there. And you want to also put something that is relevant. You are applying to the finance track and you are interested in capital market or corporate law. That's a more broader term. Capital market is under corporate law. So you want to put um, membership that are relevant to that particular thing. So you can come and put care guides or put drama. Anyways, you can still put drama club. I don't know, but applying for say engineering track or stuffs. So like that goes without saying. So basically, this is a walkthrough of the CV template. So, and it's 1 hour already. So let me take like 10 minutes to explain how you guys should write your bullet, because that's the most important thing. So how do you describe the responsibility that you kind of have, that you have undertaken? How do you slap it in that looks very professional? So, and I think I want to be very, very, very practical with it, because it's often the part where most people get it very, very wrongly. So the idea behind writing a bullet, so basically describing what you did, maybe a work experience or a leadership experience. So the idea behind it is simply that you want to put in something that is very, very quantifiable and measurable. So you don't talk generic. You want to be able to talk something that is specific to you. Where, say, for instance, if two people were to work on that role, two of you might have different things that you've done, right? So I want to be able to be
Sorry, Abdulwahab, I can't hear you.
since when did you lose me?
Yeah, I think where you want to explain the work experience part.
Okay, so let me retrace my step a little. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so perfect. So as I was saying, I said now I want to walk us through how to write a very, very good CV bullet, which is often the most important and critical part. And also not surprising that it is the part that actually gives people a lot of tough time. And I want to be very, very practical with it, right? So, and I said the core objective of that is that you want to be very, very, you want to put in something that is very quantifiable and measurable, right? You don't want to be generic. You don't want to be bland. You don't want to just slap in something that is very generic. So, and I said, okay, if two people should work the same role, two of them would have different things to write because it's also personalized in a way. So I was now trying to give an example with, say, you have a teaching experience. So one thing that must feature in whatever it is you slap in there as a bullet should be, number one, you want to mention, because you have to be quantifiable and measurable, right? They want to be able to see what is the impact in measurable term. So you just don't want to say, I taught accounting and I was able to maybe develop certain skill. Like that's too generic, right? So they want to see specific, like something specific. They want to see numbers. So what you can do, and apparently also to follow the STAR approach. So these are stuff that you guys can look into in detail after the call. So you want to be able to state what it is you do in measurable and quantifiable term, and you must attach a result. So that thing that you felt you did, how did it, improve a certain outcome? You have to attach that, right? So because it's not enough, they want to see that you've done something. So it's not enough for you to just say, okay, I've done it. They want to be able to see that you were able to do something in quantifiable terms, and that particular thing improved a certain outcome. So if you say have a teaching experience and you want to put it there, so it could be something around you taught accounting in a class of say 30 students, you see, you are mentioning specifics. You are mentioning accounting. These two experiences will be different. The outcome also will be different. So in a class of 20 accounting, it could be okay, and then something also measurable, impactful that you could mention that kind of improves a certain outcome could be that maybe after the exam there was pass rate increase in pass rate of say 50%. So maybe before you became a teacher, maybe 20 out of 30 students were passing accounting, and after you taught the class for say one term or one session, the number increased to 25. So you want to be able to mention those things categorically. So when I say you want to write in an experience, you want to write a bullet that is very comprehensive, that follows the STAR approach, that also is measurable and quantifiable. This is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. So, and that is how you write the bullets for your work experience, and that is also how you write the bullet for your leadership experience. So, and you always start, there is a language that you use, right? You always start with action verbs. So there is no in between. You want to be able to say, executed, managed, conducted. These are action verbs, like very, very direct, very, very persuasive, very, very blunt, right? So there are a lot of things around how you can write a good bullet. A 10 minutes YouTube video, a 15 minutes YouTube video can help, right? So, and but a simpler approach to things could be you sensibly and responsibly using AI to do it, right? So, who is this one saying I wanted to study accounting over my dead body? That's the least thing I ever think of. Sharif, I'm sorry, but that's the honest truth. So Tijani, are you in accounting? Let me confirm before I fire. Let me just assume he is. So the truth is, right? Yeah. So the truth is, you see accounting, business admin, insurance, actuarial science, banking and finance. Look, in fact, anything that has to do with studying money or studying anything, all of these are subset of economics. So economics is a universal set. All of these are subset. So that's by the way. He was the one who caused it for himself, right? I was doing my thing, JJ, and he just dragged me into a territory that I wouldn't have ideally fired him. So well, that's by the way. So as I was saying, you could use AI very, very responsibly for this, right? Um, how come we have accounting students plenty on this course? That's surprising. Bilikis, you should do something about this. Anyways, so you want to have that experience that you feel you have, right? Someone will give me an example, and I will tell you how to do it, in AI. So you would give AI that experience you feel you have, and then you tell it that using standard way of writing a CV bullet, it should help you refine it, and you'll be surprised at what it will give you. So, and I think that is all about what I would do, and then we can call it a session, and then probably take questions after. So now, someone should tell me what experience they have and what they did, so that I kind of run that real quick. So who's going to go? Who's going to volunteer? Or should I just choose at random? Let me even choose this Tijani guy that dragged me into this stuff. So I'm a Tijani Black. Tell me something you've done. It could be leadership experience, it could be work experience. Tell me what is it you did, and let's see how we can put it down as a very legit and solid CV bullet. Now you must talk. So Sharif, you want to agree that accounting people are more courageous and bold to talk on small Google Meet call. You can see Tijani doesn't want to talk. So I'm kidding. Feel free to talk, Tijani. I'm not a bully. I'm a very easygoing person. When you don't attack economics, by the way. So I'm listening. So if Tijani doesn't want to go, someone should help us out. Real quick, real quick.
Okay, if Tijani is not ready to speak, I think Sheriff should bail him out
So
so
Sherry,
as
come
to
and
prove
bail your
the
accounting
accounting
people.
people.
Come and bail your accounting people out. Come and even tell us what is it you've been doing in that hospital.
Okay, thank you so very much for this opportunity. As a proud accounting student and
Baba, tell us what you've
currently
done in your hospital.
okay, so a recent activity I've been doing, okay, that actually
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to even put it on my CV. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been tracking inflow reports of
Mm.
branches, right? So trying to like match it weekly with the invoice receipt of deposit, because of I check cash inflow, that is the amount of money that's actually paid in liquid cash. So after a
Mm-hmm.
certain period, it's being deposited in the bank.
Okay,
Is it this money or not?
so let me just get what you just said, because this is how accounting will just come and start confusing people. So basically you track, so your hospital has branches.
Yes.
So and they kind of weekly, as you mentioned, they kind of send in some funds, probably to consolidate a certain reporting in the headquarters or main office. So you
Yes.
track that, so right, you track that and match it against the invoices. So for accountability and checks and whatever sake, right?
Exactly.
So and then so let's just maybe stop here and then let's see how you can put this into a very solid CV bullet. So what you
All
can
right.
see from what you mentioned, there is nothing quantifiable or measurable, right? But this is a solid experience that if you slap it in under any accounting rule or something, it will sell, right? So now what you will ask yourself is, how do you make it quantifiable or measurable? First question obviously would be, how many hospital branches?
I'm managing 3 branches, like
Exactly.
three
So
branches.
three, this is a number. This is being measurable or quantifiable. Three. So now, depending on how sensitive the data is, right? So so for some cases, and I don't think it should be sensitive, it shouldn't be. I don't know if it should or it shouldn't be. But I mean, you guys are, I don't know whether hospital are taxed, but whatever it is, you could also want to mention like an approximate number, like an approximate amount of how much you've tracked and compared against those invoices. So now I'll not ask you of that, so I would just assume that I say 10 million naira, right? So 10 million naira. This also being quantifiable. So now let's see what GPT would give us. Um, Let me just quickly search and then I'll share. So let me share this particular screen. Okay, yeah. So confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I write the experience, in my own way. So say for instance, I track inflow from 3 branches. So and remember, I told you guys that you should also have result, right? It should be result driven. So now for this thing, Sharif, so what is an outcome of this particular exercise that you always do? So give me an outcome. Is it that it has improved maybe efficiency in a certain maybe the way you do it? Normally it used to take maybe 2 days to finish, and then now we are doing it in a day, or maybe that thing that you have been doing now is now contributing to a certain report that is being filed monthly. So give me an outcome.
Okay, it has increased, should I say, transparency. Formerly, they don't have this report, but I've been able to do it within a week.
So great. So it has improved transparency. That's an outcome, right? So you want to also mention that. So in as much as you want to also be quantifiable and measurable in how you put it, you also want to mention an outcome and how you've been able to improve the outcome. So I track inflow from 3 branches and compare against invoices and receipts. Typical accounting rule. How have you been finding it, Sharif? I hope it's not really stressful because it's stuff we find very very somehow down here in economics. Right? I track
Not
inflow,
at all, sir.
I compare against invoices and receipts, and then you say it contributes to receipts. So culminating in a total of say 10 million naira inflows, and also contribute. You see, I'm just writing it anyhow. The point is that Isha has an idea of what is it that the experience entails, inflows, and contributes to transparency in reporting, as well as uh, filing of monthly reports. Let me just put reports. So this is the experience. So I could give it more context because the more you give AI context, the better it serves you, right? So I'll be like, so it's an accounting rule. It's an accounting intern rule. Account intern rule at an hospital. At a hospital. So now the prompt, it simply is kindly, let me be respectful, kindly refine the above to kindly refine the above to reflect or to align with, let me use align, anything that comes to it, in as much as your AI understands this, to align with global or standard CV bullet writing. So let's see what it gives me. If it doesn't give me what I like, do some back and forth. So let's see. Enter. Okay. So tracked, the first option, track financial inflows across 3 branches and reconcile them with invoices and receipts, supporting accurate reporting and monthly financial submission. But I did not put the amount and I want it to be very explicit. So when I reconcile inflows from 3 branches, totaling 10 million against invoices and receipts, strengthening transparency and ensuring timely monthly financial. So this could be something that you could slap in. So, but I hate M dash because it says AI all over it. So maybe I put comma instead, or I put it in a bracket. Just like this third one, conducted branch level inflow reconciliation by verifying invoice and receipts, improving financial accuracy and supporting month-end reporting process. So you can see it's kind of, on spot, basically what it is that you are expected to do. So it starts with, you can see the action verbs, managed, reconciled, right? So kind of mentions what is it that you do, right? And then this is 10 million, this is 3 branches, and then this is the outcome you improved, right? So another option I could decide to say is that, okay, give me something that is, say for instance, if it's an accounting rule that you're applying to, so you want it to be accounting heavy, so you want to be able to show that you know your onions and the concepts used in accounting, whatever, are written all over the bullet. So you could tell it that, okay, give me something that is accounting focused, right? So you do that, it gives you. And if you feel like is something that would be ATS optimized. So ATS is actually a software. Full meaning is application tracking system. So imagine, all these banks that have thousands of application for their graduate trainee. Human beings cannot, in whatever number of time, record time, go through all of these and be able to go through every applicant's CV and come up with a recommendation whether to proceed with the recruitment stage or not. So they have a software that kind of goes through it and filters it based on certain keywords. So if you say your CV your bullet should be ATS optimized, it means that it will slap in some keywords that potentially that particular application software would catch. So let's see what it gives me if I say it should give me ATS optimized. So it should be ATS optimized. Let's see what it gives me, whether it's significantly different. Okay, nothing really different. But if you notice, you have more accounting terms slapped in here than the earlier one, because apparently if you're applying for an accounting role, the ATS keywords would mostly be, concepts and keywords from accounting. So that's basically it. So if you know how to write your CV bullets and you go through these sections I have walked you guys through, you should be perfectly cool and okay. So, and as I mentioned, you want to be able to do that as early as possible. You want to do that now.
All right, thank you, Abdulwahab. Is that the end of your section so I can confirm?
Yeah, so very quickly, let me just mention this. This is also to say that after you finish, I think maybe there should have something in place, maybe attach you guys with some mentors, help you review CVs and the likes. So, but most importantly, this me being honest with all of you. So next year application will come up, right? So some of you will get in, some of you will not get in. Like that's reality, that's life. So, but trust me, if you are able to follow this process, because for most of you, this is the first time you guys are applying to an external stuff, maybe apart from your job and admission. So it will build you. You guys will be able to learn a lot of things, how to write a CV, how to write essays, and bigger and better opportunities are still coming ahead that you guys can still utilize or leverage those skills that you've learned from this session and from the activity of applying to kind of, shoot at those stuff. So regardless of the outcome, you are still a winner. So that's basically it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Abdulwahab, for taking us through this detailed explanation, through this detailed template, and for giving us some keywords and things, and also some advice. Because yes, Abdulwahab said even going through all the process for applying for NHEF scholarship, you are also learning, you are improving yourself based on what she has just shown us using ChatGPT, ATS, optimized world. Yes, in this, I would say I've learned something because, okay, probably me updating my CV, I will just make sure that, okay, it aligns with some 8 years optimized words that will be used in assessing my CV so that whenever they want to check it, yes, it will actually pop up. So whatever it is that we will be doing with all what we've learned from the very first section to the very last section, I'm sure none of us will say, oh, it's just a waste of time. It's never a waste of time when you are learning. So this period now is for question and answer. If you have any question, kindly raise your electric hands up so we'll take that in less than 10 minutes. I will call it a day.
Well, I guess I did a good job since nobody has a question. Wow.
Okay, we
Let me
have a
even spread my
question.
experience.
That means you have
Yes,
to come
spread
and
my
finish
experience.
off. You have to
Yeah,
finish up
okay.
your work.
Let's
Okay,
have it.
Zainab,
Let's
you
have it.
have the floor.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the speaker. My question is, let's say you have a work that you didn't do it on your own, you did it as a team. So according to this format that you gave us for the work experience, how do you not sound like you're making it seem like you did the work alone?
That's a very rich question actually. So this is it, right? So even if you worked a certain thing under a team, there's definitely a part that you did, right? So and there is nothing wrong in you taking ownership of that part that you did, right? So because when we say action verbs, how you kind of start out your bullet, it has to be very strong, right? So you could be in a team and everybody has different tasks they worked on, but the tasks you particularly worked on, it's you, right? So you have the right to take the ownership. So you executed, you managed, you reconciled because it's what you did, right? So, and I think this is in a way trying to check to provide accountability. So some people hide under the guise of it's a teamwork stuff, and then so this is even me telling you, look, if you worked in a team and you can't pinpoint to anything that you personally did in terms of contributing to that particular teamwork, then there is an issue with how you participated in the team. Right. So, and I think the reason why provision for that is not really explicit, where you could be a team member, like it's a normal thing to happen, right? But provision for that is not really made because definitely they know that if you really participated actively in that particular team exercise or team task or teamwork, there's definitely a role that you played to contribute value to that particular team, and there's nothing wrong in you taking ownership of it. You want to be able to explicitly state it in the form that we kind of have explained earlier, to say that okay, this is what you did, this is what you did. And trust me, more or less, if there are a lot of coaching that you do, because eventually when you come to write that CV, there are certain things that might not really be very, very, very clear. Right? Okay, it could be maybe the outcome. So the outcome might not be very, very explicit or clear. So, one or two spices is good, but plenty is bad. So that I think that answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdulwahab. Do we have any other person that has a question? If you have a question, you can raise your hand up. Okay, if we don't have any other person, I'm very sure that we've all learned one or two things from the beginning of this section to the very last. Sure. Thank you all for joining. To our speakers, thank you for joining and sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate and hoping to have some other sections with you in the future. And to everyone that joined the call and stayed to the very end, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time and efforts for being on this call. And we are wishing you all the best in your application process for NHEF scholarship or whatever applications you want to apply for. And do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night to you all.